now, we seem to also be seeing kind of a rush to a ton of entities starting to move into the space. We've had several ETFs that have been denied by the SEC. Just your approach on this. I know, from the CFTC, it's a different scenario that plays out in this versus what happens over at the SEC with ETFs. But what is your thought on, do you think this ETF could actually go through with BlackRock?
Well, let me actually come to this from a different way. That chart you put up is very interesting. Look at all the TradFi names on that chart.
Yep.
What I would say is this too is not surprising. If you actually look at the history of the first wave of the internet, it was the disruptors that came up first.
Yes.
In the late 1990s that created what we called the dot-com bubble. And then the bubble crashed, and there were some people out there saying that's it. People are done with e-commerce. They're never going to buy pet supplies online, and that's why pets.com crashed. No, in fact, that people did want to use e-commerce. It's just that they couldn't do it conveniently with the then current architecture. Buying pet supplies with 2G technology on a dial-up modem, waiting 3 weeks for the pet supplies to arrive was not exactly a great customer experience. It took the arrival of infrastructure of PayPal, of 3G and 4G technology, ultimately 5G technology. It took the arrival of Amazon and others to build out the space. In 2000, when the dot-com bubble crashed, there were less than 350 million people around the world using e-commerce. 10 years later, by 2020, by 2010, the number was over 2 billion, and today it's close to 6 billion. Yeah. E-commerce was the right idea, but the infrastructure wasn't there. I think the same is going to prove itself to be the case with an internet of value. It's not that people don't want to use digital networks to determine who holds value and who transfers value to whom. It's just that the infrastructure isn't there. And so charts like that and now I'm not sure everybody on that chart is going to win in the end, but what it shows to me is that more mature players, we've had the disruptors, and the disruptors have done their job to basically champion a concept that people can start getting their heads around. Now you're going to see more mature players come into the space and looking for opportunity, and some of them will help transform it. Some of them will not. There will be some of the old disruptors who will still play a role in that future, and we'll have what we had in that first wave of the internet, a glorious mix of new and old disruptors and traditional players helping to build out this internet of value. And I think 10 years from now, we'll look back saying this was really the maturization of this innovation that's taking place now with these new entrants. And when you have a player like BlackRock leading the charge, that's if there's no better statement that this innovation is here to stay than that chart you just put up there with some of the leaders that are on that chart.